It's Moo-Man.
Moo-Man?
This is not a dream.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Moo-Man. It is Moo-Man on the mic.
What is going on? Yes, it is your man's Moo-Man on the mic, back again with another episode of the Initiative Podcast, where we get into everything celebrity news, world news, sociology, psychology, and WTF. Let's go. Okay, let me tell y'all something. Okay, I did a special report last night. If you didn't check out episode 51, which is the special report, definitely check it out. I get into the ideology of La Raza, right? I get into all that, but I want y'all to check it out. I was going to get a little bit of detail into it, but I want y'all to check it out. And the variety of the next podcast episodes that I do are definitely about to be ironclad, okay? They're going to be spot on. So it's a lot of world news, you know, a lot of details, and just a lot of things going on, all right? But definitely shout out to everyone who's been cutting through the lies, cutting through the AI, and has really been seeing everything for what it is, who's been doing their research, who's been sticking to the facts, who follow the details. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. All right, and we're going to do this back to back. All right, the headline hero for episode 52 of this podcast goes out to everybody once again. Okay, y'all are the heroes, the ones who's been just reading between the lines on things and really has been following the stories from point A to point B to point C. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are the real heroes out here. Me, I'm just doing my due diligence as a servant of the public, as an artist, as a creator, as a producer, as a podcaster, to hit y'all with my take, my brand that Moo-Man on the mic is, my little spin on it, not to mention the facts, the details, and the truth, because it gets crazy out here, all right? I mean, it does. It definitely gets crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? They've been blocking me. They've been blocking me off of Facebook. They've been blocking me off of certain links, certain pages. But I carry on and I keep pushing because y'all deserve it. We all deserve it. You know what I mean? If we don't start speaking up, if we don't start making podcasts, if we don't start putting our voice out there, never mind what everyone else is saying, talking about you can't do it, you ain't got enough money, you ain't got enough technology. No, as long as you have resolve. And I said something similar about this earlier. You got to have resolve. You know what I mean? It's not enough to have talent anymore. It's not enough to have discipline. You got to have resolve. You got to have the motivation to get yourself out of situations or to put yourself into better situations in your life. You understand what I'm saying? You have to have a resolve, be resolute in everything that you do. Say, speak the way you carry yourself, your Moorish, if you will. Shout out to the Moorish community, the Mu'mineen, of course. You see what I'm saying? So that's why this is so important. That's why the shout out goes to y'all. That's why the headline hero goes to y'all. And we are about to get into these headlines. Now, make no mistake. You already know what time it is. Headline hunt. Okay, let's do it. After years of preparation, Israel launches major offensive against Iran and its nuclear program. IAF strikes hit nuclear sites and in Tehran. Natanz enrichment facility significantly damaged. IRGC chief, army head, commander, scientists dead. Okay, Mossad active on the ground. Okay, this is an article by Emmanuel Fabian, Lazar Bermain, and Jacob Magrid. Okay, decades of Israeli warnings against Iran's nuclear program and the preparations for military action to thwart it culminated early Friday morning, okay? While everyone was asleep on this end, because I was knocked out, with the Jewish state launching a major offensive against the Islamic Republic, striking nuclear sites, military facilities, missile bases, and senior leadership. Did y'all hear the nuclear sites? Okay, striking nuclear sites. I know y'all heard that, right? Jerusalem said it had engaged in a precise preemptive strike against Iran, declaring an imminent threat from its nuclear program and announcing a domestic state of emergency as citizens brace for retaliation. Top officials warned of a potential prolonged conflict, noting that Tehran had the power to inflict significant pain upon Israel. We all understand that Iran has nuclear weapons. They've been lying to the public for 20 years about that, but we know they have at least 9 of them. All right, I'm sure of it. Okay, enriched uranium has been going on for decades over in Iran. Multiple waves of Israeli strikes were reported throughout Iran for several hours, starting at around 3 a.m. and into the morning. Over 200 Israeli Air Force aircraft were involved in the opening strikes, and fighter jets dropped over 330 munitions on some 100 targets in the IDF locations. Do y'all understand that them hitting nuclear sites, y'all already know that's the end of the war, right? The minute it gets into the atmosphere, the stratosphere, the ionosphere, it's all over sphere. Okay? I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. What can we do as people? The only thing that we can do is get close with our ancestors and pray for this one. The operation, dubbed Rising Lion, was directed at Iran's nuclear program. The military assessed Iran currently has enough enriched uranium to build about 15 nuclear bombs. I said 9, right? That's 9 that they currently have. That's 15 more on top of the 9. All right, as well as its ballistic missile factories and its military capabilities. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the military said Israel said it had no choice but to attack Iran, aiding that it had gathered intelligence that Tehran was approaching the point of no return in its pursuit of nuclear weapons. We already know the double cross, the triple cross, and if you know your history, the quadruple cross that Iran and Israel has been dealing with each other, Russia, Ukraine, the Koreas, you name it. You see what I'm saying? We got monarchs trying to stay in power, theocracies trying to survive, and then we have tyrants that are trying to resolve their greed behind the scenes. We know this to be self-evident. I urge everyone to get down into more of that story as we move forward. Headline hunting. Newsom becomes a fighter and Democrats beyond California are cheering. Article by Amy Parnes from The Hill. California Governor Gavin Newsom is meeting the moment, Democrats say, amid the growing storm over Trump's administration response to protests of immigration and customs enforcement, which is ICE raids, which hit a new crescendo Thursday when officials put Senator Alex Padilla in handcuffs. Newsom is doing what his party wants. He's punching back and he's going on the offense. While it's been a horrible week for the country, Gavin Newsom has been an incredible voice of so many people discontent and anxiety about Trump's America, said Democratic strategist Jamal Simmons. Democrats want people who can take on Donald Trump, and he is seen as someone who has been taking him on. The ICE raids in Los Angeles, the biggest city in Newsom state, had the possibility of becoming political quicksand for California governor. And all I'm saying is Newsom wants to come out and, suggest that he cares about everybody in Los Angeles. I mean, this is the same Newsom that kicked the homeless out of the city when China visited. You know what I'm saying? LA. That was unfortunate. And how about the homeless population now? I guess they're all well and good then, right? Or maybe the fires. Have there been allocations of that same good heart to everything else leading up to this? And then, mind you, what I'm saying? The peaceful protest, is that the same thing as burning cars? Is that the same thing as stomping on the American flags? Did they realize that those visual optics would look terrible on video because that looked just like what they do in the third world? Multiple different flags out there, multiple different NGOs out there taking advantage of the situation, multiple streamers going online. All right, all I'm saying is this a political theater, or are we serious about the illegal, encroachments of ICE? Are we serious about the illegal encroachment of domestic terrorists, that are claiming citizenship but aren't real citizens? You see what I'm saying? I mean, don't let the waters get murky now. Let's dig deep into it, all right? Trump on Saturday said that the National Guard without Newsom's consent Trump on Saturday sent the National Guard without Newsom's consent amid images of burning cars, mass protesters. Trump justified the decision by arguing that things are going out of control on Newsom's watch. Newsom and Democrats argued that he deliberately provoked a larger confrontation and escalated the situation. Nobody's been killed, though, which is thanks to the Most High, inshallah. There was some risk to Newsom's decision to fight Trump, who maintains a number of protesters were breaking the law and sees both immigration and law and order as strong issues on which to batter Democrats. And we're going to see moving forward into 2026, 2028 elections, just how these things will come back up if they ever die back down. Mind you, We're on the midst of World War. And on this end, you know what I'm saying, we have multiple riots. We're going to see what's going on. All right, headline hunting. Drake fans OVO takeover at Kendrick Lamar's Toronto concert canceled by police. Ain't that something? This is an article by Brian Boom Paul. Drake OVO fan base includes the rapper's most devoted fans. OVO stands for October very own. OVO's mascot is an owl. An OVO takeover was anticipated at Kendrick Lamar's Grand National Tour stop in Toronto to support hometown hero Drake. However, the planned gathering was quickly dispersed by Toronto police as concert goers arrived at Rogers Centre. The OVO takeover was meant to be a peaceful gathering in support of the Drizzy. Fans participating in the takeover informed social media that they were forced to leave after authorities received concerning calls. In a statement shared on social media, the organizers of the OVO takeover wrote the following: "Unfortunately, we have to cancel the OVO takeover. We genuinely wanted to bring people together, have some fun, and create good vibes for the city, but unfortunately, some people decided to report us, falsely claiming that we were planning to start trouble and cause chaos. Because of those reports, police were already on high alert and would quickly shut down anything that even looked like a crowd forming. It was not cracking. All right, period. We didn't expect things to blow up the way they did. What started as a joke turned out into a full-on movement, and y'all made that happen. Shout out to the media outlets that pulled up: CTV, City News, CP24, Virgo Radio, Much Music, and most importantly, shout out to every single one of you who showed love and made this real for 5 minutes, because that's what it sounds like. To make sure your time wasn't wasted, if you pulled up at all, DM us any videos and photos you took. We will be mailing out hoodies to everyone who came through just to give us a few days to process everything. Well, we will also be running a few giveaways over the next couple days to get the rest of the hoodies out. We're honestly disappointed it had to end like this, and it was all meant for the culture, for the city, and for the fun. But for the fact that so many of you cared enough to show up means the world." All right. That sounds like a bunch of crying to me. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like a bunch of what was supposed to happen didn't happen because what was really supposed to happen didn't happen the way it needed to happen because the cops came through. All right? Now, y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all can say Kendrick Lamar squad, team, theories. Y'all can say all that all y'all want. I would be moving the same way if I was one of the world's best top performers at the time. Not to mention, you know what I'm saying, Drake was supposed to get on Kai's stream and go live. He should have just did that rather than create this 5-minute situation that he thought was going to escalate into a situation that did not. There's already riots. All right, you know what I'm saying? There's already wars going on. You know what I mean? If you think that you can take time out of other people's lives to perpetuate beef that you created, whether you're a fan following the situation or not, it gets corny after a while, right? It gets a little dated. All I want to see is talent. All I want to hear is music. And I'm pretty sure that's what we all, most of us all listening to this podcast, would like to hear and see come out the situation. You know that you can develop positivity coming out of negative situations that'll give you far more stripes, far more accreditation than crying and suing and crying some more and going on streams just to cry. Like, no, knock that off. As a matter of fact, how about you help the homeless in Toronto? You see what I'm saying? How about you help those who are a little less fortunate? How about you create ways that you can use your money, however liquid it could possibly be, to make something better out of the situation musically? You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are things that you can do. No one wants to think about the positive build. Everyone wants to think about the negative build. You know what I mean? And it's all going to be destroyed anyway. Whatever builds shall be destroyed. And that's a fact. Not for something worse, but usually for something greater. If you know how to plant the seeds, if you know how to till the soil the right way, you know how to square the circle of each foundation. You see what I'm saying? You can do a lot. And that's all I'm saying. And again, these podcast episodes I'm about to be coming out with, y'all got to keep on being on the look, being on the watch, because I will be dropping them and they will be sporadic. You know what I mean? Until I can get a good, a better schedule going. So there's a lot been going on my end. I will be talking about it in my music. It's your man's movement on the mic. Let's go.
I don't mean no disrespect, but no way. I can't listen to you